33 of the Securities Exchange Act number 41 of 2016, it states, ladies and gentlemen, that a sound regulatory box is put in place for newly technologies that are IPOing. What does it mean? It means that those technologies that are not yet proven in the market will have to undergo a test. This is a necessary where we test.
Your time is up.
Please, 20 seconds.
20 seconds, please.
These sandboxes, ladies and gentlemen, test the potential and the capabilities of these technologies. Henceforth, we as your government are telling you that Proverbs 2 verse 2 says that a bad carpenter blames the two. But who is the carpenter? We are the carpenters, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much.
Not only is he a lawyer, he's also a pastor. A round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. This debate is getting heated. Those of you joining us on Facebook and on YouTube, thank you so much. Feel free to leave a comment. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us if you're enjoying. Tell us who you think should be best speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, we continue with the debate, and at this point, we call upon the Deputy Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator, for your call. And indeed, shall I simply say, or problematic, that the statistics of the government that do not tally with what is naturally renowned. Their deputy leader told us that there are 30 million Zambians that have access to the internet. Well, members of the House, we ask you, where have the extra 10 million Zambians come from? Because as of the last census, there were 20 million Zambians in this country. Why are they fabricating information for us to give? Now, ladies and gentlemen, and panel, the motion, I will engage you.
Now, honorable member, isn't opposing AI effectively reserving sophisticated investment tools? Please explain. Thank you.
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, this motion is not talking about whether or not we should include AI into the market. What it is asking us, ladies and gentlemen, and I will move in this way, is that if we introduced AI into the market, will it increase substantially the amount of participants from the retail investor? And that is what our motion is asking us, panel. Now, as the opposition, we have this stance. Artificial intelligence does not source or does not combat the real cause or the real problem that is being faced and what is limiting retail investors in Zambia. This is what we believe the real limit to retail investors in Zambia is. Number one, ladies and gentlemen, there is low disposable income in the households. This is as a result of high unemployment. Ladies and gentlemen, another thing is inflation, which is leading to a rising cost of living. And all together, ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to a concept of competing household priorities. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to quote from the Zambia Statistical Agency that told us about household finances. They tell us, ladies and gentlemen, that in rural areas, households spend 56.4% of their incomes on food-related costs and 43.6% on non-food expenditures, while in urban areas, expenditure on food amounted to 34.7%, while on non-food things was 65.3%. I will do the mathematics for you. In the rural areas, 56.4 plus 43.6 is 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, in the urban areas, 34.7 plus 65.3 is also 100%. Good Samaritan to the judges. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the leader of the government came and told us that certain shares, I will engage you, they told us that certain shares can cost as little as 10 kwacha. But if I'm spending everything I'm earning on literally living, where is the extra 10 kwacha coming from? I will engage.
First of all, if you spend everything you're earning on a stock, then you're not financially literate. That's to begin with. That's why we need AIs to finance that. But again, ladies and gentlemen, we want to ask you, what is more expensive between human labor and an algorithm that can work throughout the night without needing food, a bath, and to feed his family? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You have told this house that spending all your money on investment is very unwise. But we're telling you that we don't even have any money to spend on investment because everything is going to food and non-food costs, things that we need in our households. Panel, the second question is asking us whether or not it is more costly to have all these people. But we're saying that the motion of this debate is not how cost effective AI is. It is about whether AI improves your investment and my investment at the retail level. Now, panel, allow me to move on and tell you another state, ladies and gentlemen. Something that is also problematic for the retail investor is the potential return on investment. A study that was carried out by the Cambridge University on all global markets has told us that the retail order imbalance earns a dismal annualized return of 14.8% among stocks that are heavily traded, for example, things like Airtel, while on other stocks was 6.6%. Let me put this into context. Good Samaritan. Ladies and gentlemen, if I invested 100 kwacha, time up?
Your time is up. 15 seconds.
Ladies and gentlemen, what we are saying to this house is, if a woman in the Kantemba has 100 kwacha to invest, what she needs is an extra 100 kwacha.
Ladies and gentlemen, all protocol is observed. The first question I would like to pose is the fact that if money was a problem, people, would people not be falling prey to pyramid schemes? That's a question we have to ask. This is not just a monetary thing. This is financial literacy we are talking about. And as our Prime Minister even mentioned it, the fact that these words are scary. Words such as dividends are scary. And that is why we are saying the fact that with artificial intelligence, it gets to explain it in a language you understand. And that language is not just English, it's a language called understanding.
They have asked us if
Not a debate on the perfection of AI. It's on this gaps the bridge between financial literacy in our own languages. As I said, this is not about English, it's about understanding. This IPA basically gave us languages for us to be able to translate from English to Bemba, to Tonga, to Lozi, to Nyanja. Let me take you to the northern western province, ladies and gentlemen, which is Kaunde, Luvale, and that is what we are talking about. The fact that AI does have the potential for these people to be able to understand the financial literacy, for us to increase the what? The retail participation, ladies and gentlemen. Getting into my last point, ladies and gentlemen, which is the fact that this, ladies and gentlemen, is about AI personalization. The fact that the moment we have this AIs, ladies and gentlemen, we are able to communicate and not think that this is a field this is not a field, this is a field for people that are expert. This is a field for all of us Zambians, isn't it? And for AI, they are able to tell you, even just as students, we go there and say, explain to me like I'm a 5-year-old. That is something that somebody in the capital markets, for instance, will not be able to do for you as an expert, but AI can do this for you. You say, explain to me like I'm a 5-year-old and I will understand. And that is what we are talking about.
Wow, this